with Zora, I didn't even do a tranche strategy because, so a couple things. I do a tranche strategy when I think something can break out at any moment. And it's not that I didn't think it was going to break out in any moment, but I just didn't have any. If Coinbase were to say, okay, the base app is going to be open the floodgates to anyone in a month. Okay, Zora's pumping in a month. So then I'm like, okay, the big fish are going to come in because they're opening the gates for them to fit, right? I do know that Zora can pump at any second, but I didn't have any inclination like, okay, it's probably going to pump, boom, within a month. So I set up the tranche strategy when I think that, okay, at any moment, boom. Other than that, I'll just have one range to kind of catch some big whales, but also some small ones. But this here, I'll just show you guys. I'm gonna share my screen here. And this, I just got to go over this methodology again for those of you who weren't on the call when we talked about time in the market versus trying to time the market. Basejunkie, we're going to use it as a case study. We're all learning here. So my good brother was trying to time the market, and he was in some pools that were paying him pretty good. So he was still, you know, doing good in his golden pool, and I'm that OpenXAI pool, that one's still probably doing pretty good. This is what we talked about: time in the market versus trying to time the market. So this shows the value of 10K invested into the S&P over a 19-year time span, January 03 to December 2022. If you're in it all days, your 10K is worth almost 65K. If you miss just the 10 best days, your performance is more than cut in half, and you only have less than 30K, and so on and so forth, till you get to the point when you miss the 40 best days or more, you actually start to lose money. Okay, so now there is no chart for this in DeFi, but it's the same thing. In DeFi, you get paid off of volume, right? So you want to be in range when these candles happen, right? So like right here, I wasn't in Zora when this happened, right? I wasn't up on Zora yet, but I was able to catch these candles, right? And as you can see, you have this one, you have this one, and this one. Like, it's like 4 or 5 candles that stick out in comparison to the rest, okay? This is Zora USDC. Now, if I go to Zora ETH, because I'm in both, that was, let me just show you guys real quick. This is my range for Zora USDC. And if I go ahead and measure it out, because I'm going to show you guys how much I was able to get paid. It's 61% wide. That's not too crazy. And you can see that the market actually did go outside of it for a little bit. And I did have to rebalance because my range capped off like right here. So I rebalanced it, and then I went ahead. This was like 4 or 5 days ago. And then I was able to capture it. It went out again and it came back in, right? So it's just like you can catch a big fish in your net, but sometimes that back fin might go out of it for a second, but it comes back in, right? If I look at my Zora ETH, same thing here. You can see that this candle stood out. Let me get my drawing tool. I wasn't here for this one. Look at how small these candles were. And this is when I hopped in and me and Basejunkie were talking. He's like, I'm not really excited about this. Like, you know, I'm making more money in golden. Like, it's not going crazy. But then out of nowhere, boom, you never know when the best days are going to come. You just want to have your net in the water so that when they do, your performance isn't cut like this, right? So now if we go to revert, so these are my 2 positions. And as you can see, look at this fee APR, 1,400%, guys. Let me do some math real quick. So if I'm getting 1439 divided by 12, that's 119% per month. If I do that by 30, that's 3.9, pretty much 4% a day passively. Guys, when I was trading Forex, my goal was to make 2% a day while sitting in front of the charts for hours, getting up at 4 a.m. But now I'm able to make 4% passively without doing a goddamn thing. And the cool thing is that not only am I making this good money in fees, but Zora went up like 60% in one day because it got listed on Robinhood. So all the times when I was in the pool and it was making 100 to 300% APR, when me and Basejunkie were talking about it, I'm taking half those rewards and buying more Zora and ETH. I'm taking the other half and I'm compounding into the pool. So all of my rewards that I have been accumulating since I've been in this position for almost 2 months, that also went up 60%. And if I break this down here, guys, when I first hopped in it, when the announcement was made, this was 6,000% plus, right? So 4 days and 22 hours, guys, I was able to make almost $1,000 off of just 4,000 in pooled assets. That's pretty crazy.
That's incredible, man. That's incredible.
That's pretty crazy. And then if I scroll down to this one, so that was Zora ETH. This is Zora USDC, 1,303%. Position age, again, 4 days and 21 hours. And I was able to make $687 paid out in Zora and USDC. The only reason why it's not higher is not just because of the volume, but USDC, you know, ETH kind of have made a big recovery, or not a big recovery. It made somewhat of a recovery. So that's why these rewards are worth more, even though the APR is similar. Whereas to this one is USDC, and USDC is stable versus ETH going up. So, and then just to point something out, guys, this is like that intricate stuff that, you know, I feel like every show there's a little intricate detail that we kind of uncover, and this is not planned. So this is what I like to call liquidity mountain. Okay. When you're providing liquidity, it basically rewards smart liquidity providers. So these bars are where all the liquidity providers have their liquidity placed. And these two purple lines is where I have my liquidity placed. Now you can see that most of the liquidity is concentrated between these two ticks. When you're providing liquidity, you have something called ticks, and the tick is basically a bucket of price range. So like if you're in Zora ETH, Zora USDC, and let me go here to talk about what I mean here, because this is really important. So right now the price of Zora is 9 cents. Okay, so each tick represents a price range, not a single price. So that means that from 1 cent to 5 cents could be one tick, just like on Ethereum USDC. $1,000 ETH to $1,500 ETH could be one tick. It can be two. Each tick or each pair has their own tick price range. So most of the liquidity providers have most of their liquidity concentrated in these two ticks, and for whatever reason, these two ticks. And that tells me that they probably think that price can go below here. But the cool thing about yield farming is that by casting a wide net, let's see if we can use the fish example to help make this make sense. If price goes up a few points and then it goes to this tick, it's not a lot of liquidity here, but I have liquidity here. So that means I have less competition, and I'm going to make a lot more fees if price goes into any of these ticks within my purple lines, and especially these ones, because it's less liquidity here than it is here. So you have an opportunity to where, like right now, I'm sharing fees with all these liquidity providers because price is in this tick, and it's a lot of liquidity concentrated in this tick. But when the price moves here, and this happens to me all the time, let's say people are sleeping and they don't take the time to rearrange. If price is here, I'm making a hell of a whole lot more fees. And this is why I was making 6,000% APR, because price moves into some ticks to where it wasn't a lot of liquidity concentrated. So most of the liquidity that was being used was mine, and you make more money because you have less competition, because it's less liquidity in these ticks.
That's solid, and it makes complete sense. Less mouths to feed, so you can get a bigger slice of the pie.
Exactly.